Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. First to Yemen, where Houthi rebels who seized the capital Sanaa have reached a tentative deal with President Rabbuh Mansour Hadi, a strong ally of the United States in the fight against al-Qaida in the Arabian Peninsula. VOA Sharon Behn reports that Washington is monitoring the situation closely.
Yemen's embattled President Rabbuh Mansour Hadi says he has reached agreement with Houthi rebels who have besieged his residence, offering to scrap a proposed constitutional change that rebels opposed. In turn, Houthi rebels have agreed to withdraw from their seized positions and free a top official kidnapped Saturday. The concessions come after 3 days of violence in Sanaa that raised alarms across the Gulf region to the United Nations and Washington, which relies on the Yemeni government in its battle against Yemen-based al-Qaida militants. In Washington, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said monitoring the situation in Yemen is a priority for the United States.
The Houthis had obviously what you can only call violent objections to the refusal of the Hadi government to accept all of their demands with respect to the way forward, and particularly the Peace and Partnership Agreement and its implementation.
Rebel leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi had demanded a power-sharing deal with the government. The Gulf states, the United States, and Britain had urged all parties to come to a political agreement. The Houthis, who took over Sanaa once before in 2012, are believed to be backed by Iran. Mr. Hadi is supported by the United States and Saudi Arabia. Daniel Serwer of Johns Hopkins University says via Skype that if left unresolved, the political tensions could feed into sectarian Saudi Sunni and Iranian Shiite strife in the region.
We're facing a series of proxy wars that really are challenging the state structures in the Middle East. The Houthis can't pretend alone to govern all of Yemen, but they might pretend to govern a part of it. So I think we're in very dangerous territory here.
State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki says Washington's anti-al-Qaida efforts with Yemen are continuing.
At this point in time, it's ongoing. We see certainly value in having a strong presence in Yemen, in part because of our continuing work on counterterrorism efforts.
By late Wednesday, the Houthi rebels appeared to be withdrawing from the buildings they had seized earlier in the week. Sharon Behn, VOA News, Washington.
For the latest, we are joined via phone from Sanaa by journalist and analyst Mr. Zaid Ali, al-Alaya'a. Welcome, Mr. al-Alaya'a.
Thank you very much.
Yes, now, describe for us, please, very briefly, the state of things in Sanaa today, the mood of the country today.
Come again, please. Can you repeat the question again?
If you can describe a little bit, what is the mood in the country this evening in Sanaa?
As I told you, there is a feel among mostly all people that are not feeling secure anymore. They have lost hope in the government. They have lost hope in the military. They have lost hope in what is happening since 2011. There has been a lot of deals sponsored by either regional or international powers in order to solve the problem in the country. Saleh was ousted in 2011, and an agreement was signed or initiative sponsored by the GCC Council. Mm-hmm. And then another deal was signed between al-Houthis and the government called the Agreement of National Peace and Partnership. And yesterday, Wednesday, we saw another agreement that was signed. But all these agreements are going nowhere.
Now,
they are not doing any good for the Yemeni citizen.
Now,
they are going from bad to worse.
Now, for those who are observing from a distance, we feel like, okay, this is some positive movement. Do you think this is going to hold, this current agreement?
These agreements are not being kept, Vincent. They are signed, and in 1 day or less, they are being violated or breached by this side or that side.
So
what is happening now? What is happening now in Yemen is they put the carrot before the horse. The state-run media are governed by the Houthis, and the government has no power over its own media channels, TV, Sabah News Agency, a Thawra newspaper. all are controlled by the Houthis.
Now, Zaid,
yes.
Now, what are people saying? What has to be done in order to resolve this problem once and for all?
Look, people have lost hope. They don't care who's going to rule the country. All governments in Yemen since 2011 and even before have made citizens struggle to put food on their table. Citizens, normal citizens, that are the majority. We have more than 10 million Yemenis that are living under the line of poverty. Citizens are busy looking for food to put for their families. They are not. They do not care that much about politics. They want somebody who can provide them with basic services. They don't care if the Houthi would rule. They don't care if Hadi would rule. They don't care whoever would rule the country. They want food. They want water. They want electricity that doesn't get blacked out from 7 to 8 hours and sometimes more.
Zaid, thank you very much. We definitely will be talking to you in the coming days. Well, Mr. Zaid al-Alaya'a is a Sanaa-based journalist and analyst. While speaking to AlHola TV, Todd Raffner of the Project on Middle East Democracy said the role of the United States in helping stabilize Yemen is critical.
You know, they don't want to see Yemen collapse into any worse of a situation. They're already dealing with a number of competing priorities with ISIS and with Libya and, you know, a number of other crises around the world and especially in the Middle East. So I do think that they will, at least at the moment, support this political solution and hope that it can stop, you know, sort of the bloodshed that's going on. But I think a bigger question will be what the other Gulf countries do and if they're able to put aside some of their differences with some of their rivals and if they will undermine or help the situation in Yemen. I do think that Washington would see it as a positive development if the Houthis prove to be a consistent and effective counterbalance to al-Qaida. Obviously, al-Qaida in Yemen, in the Arabian Peninsula, is quite strong, and so I do think that's something that Washington is interested in. But I do think that the Houthis need to be a part of the political process as well. I don't think that, you know, continuing violent means will be anything that Washington is interested in supporting. So it will depend on how the Houthis move forward and how they're able to continue negotiating with this current government.
Well, that was Todd Raffner of the Project on Middle East Democracy speaking to AlHola Television.